Good afternoon. May you be cool wherever you are, because I'm pretty sure it's just a hot day for everybody. Now, with that being said, we will be talking about Stranger Things, as I said in below. Plus, we will might get into the Dresden Files today. I don't quite know yet, but if we do, that will be awesome sauce. Because I'm sure, like always, my two favorite people have their own opinion on it. With that being said, hold on. I'm trying to share this with somebody. Trying to get some more views, you know?
Of course.
All right.
Come on.
Your thing. So you're gonna paint.
So,
Finish up your soft tone.
Stranger Things. Now, our predictions. I kind of want to go back to right before we did the last two episodes came out, and to the predictions. Were we off? Were we on? Do I need to show that clip to go find that clip to go show us or remind us? Because I don't know, mine kind of went kind of Cthulhu-ish with tentacles and not having a great ending.
Yeah, I very clearly remember that part.
Yeah, you know what I didn't like about the tentacles is they kind of look like crap. I mean, literally crap. Did you get
Isn't
that?
that what plants typically? No, that's what they always look like.
I know, but I was watching it and I'm like, those look like really long logs.
I don't know. I mean, tentacles are always weird. I mean, do you want them to look more octopus with little suction cups on them?
Well, they were meant to be vines.
Yeah, I wanted them to just be a little greener, less brown. Just gonna leave it there.
The only color that was in that show, other than the door, was red and black. There was no other real color in the upside down. Yeah, the upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching videos on the making and why they did the things they did. And the red and black, if you look at the back of a Black Widow, if you look at a Black Widow, it's red, little red, timepiece, hourglass, and black. So with his fascinations with all things, arachnid, I think that's why it went red and black, because originally it was kind of yellowish brown.
Yeah.
Before he morphed it into what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So do we think that he is the lord and commander of his realm, or do we think there's somebody else?
It's gotta be somebody else.
I would like it to be somebody else, but I think what they implied is that at least the way I saw it, is that when he went down there, is that I would like it to be somebody else, but I feel like is that when he went down there and you see him like bring the smoke down, I think that's both showing that he created the Mind Flayer, but that he both created and is the Mind Flayer in a weird way.
That's kind of what I got out of it. He was the Lord.
That's not what it is.
Yeah, I saw it the opposite, that there was stuff there. The Demogorgons, the bats. Right, if there's the Demogorgons, the bats, etc., and they're all like connected, to me it seems like that he just, became, the number 2 of the realm, not the number 1.
That's what I want it to be, but I feel it just doesn't seem like that's what it is. I hope that it's the number 2.
Well, I kind of think he's the Lord and Commander.
I think that's what it is. I don't want that to be what it is.
I don't want it to
seems
be.
If he was truly the number 1, he wouldn't have gone to all this petty stuff to get back at 11. He was
Why not? People are petty. Not all people are petty, but you don't. Petty is a fairly natural human affliction.
And I also think there was some sort of like he may have had like kind of like a crush on her or something.
Yeah, there was some kind of weird, weird
age inappropriate attraction. Yeah,
to say the least.
With the whatever the freak his name was, and you were saying that since the very first second he showed up on screen. You realize that, right?
What?
The very first second that he showed up on screen before the last episode and everything. The whole he's everybody at the same time.
Well, it's a hive
Before
mind.
well, no, Henry, Juan Vecna, they're the orderly, that guy. They're all the same person. Since like the very first second he showed up on screen, he's like, "Yep, yeah, that's what I'm predicting."
I remember I was watching it with
Yeah, because you don't bring in someone like that without, it's an old mystery trick, mystery writer trick, where you bring in the bad guy. You don't let anybody even see the bad guy until right before you're about to reveal the bad guy.
I was watching it with my
It's a
daughter.
cheap trick that I absolutely despise.
I remember watching like the first episode of this current season, and they show not the first episode, but they show the orderly, and I kind of looked at my daughter, was like, you know what a pedophile looks like? She's like, no, it kind of looks like that guy. And
yeah, but they also kind of look like
everybody else.
Well, no, they kind of tend to be balding on top, overweight, and don't shave properly.
See, I shave properly, and I'm not balding on top. I can't say anything about the fatness. I like my food. But no, I don't know. It's the same reason why I told my daughter that the ice cream truck guy is going to kidnap her because
that's where they go.
Yeah,
that is possibly the top 3, if not the top way kids disappear. Right out front, right in public.
What was it? Parking lots, ice cream trucks, and unattended city parks are the top 3 places I always heard was the best way to lose a kid. No, the mall. The mall, parking lots, and ice cream trucks. That's what it was. And parks are somewhere on the list, but it was those 3. Yeah. But this was like in the 90s. I like to think things have gotten better.
But they haven't. They've gotten worse. The numbers of missing children keep steadily rising. And, it's when it's in the millions, just in the United States, you have to wonder, how is there some sort of, epidemic? Suddenly there's something in the water that's turning people to suddenly do this, because it hasn't always been the case. Back in the 80s and the 70s, the numbers were insignificant in comparison. And it also leads you to the conclusion that there's some sort of a market, I'm just going to say that, for these children.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, that is very true. Hey, Mark, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad that you're able to make it here and watch the video. Yeah, you said you'll be back in about 20 minutes. I hope to see you back in the chat at that time.
And thanks again, Mark, for the link. That really helped out this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the link he gave us for Dresden. We both made it to the same spot, which was the 6th hour mark, and we couldn't watch any of the other.
I will say that the new link was frustrating. I'd just be carrying around listening to it, and I move wrong, and I touch the screen the wrong way, and then it turns off. And then trying to put it up again, all of a sudden, just a stretched out picture of an old man's face covers my entire screen. Right as I'm about to click on it, sending me to a website.
That's creepy.
That's because there's ads. If you touch the ad,
I know it wasn't an ad.
I mean, we kind of saw that last night. We kind of saw that last night on Shadow Chat with your friend. Him just kind of lounging there. I'm sure he's a good guy, and I'm not trying to make fun of him, but it was just a really.
No, you'll get to know him. He's been a friend of the family and one of my longest time players. After many decades.
Jade made the point out, if I'm not an ass to somebody, that means I don't like them. I'm like, really? He's like, kinda. You just ignore their existence otherwise. And I'm like, that's probably fair. So, I kind of don't want to get into the death of Eddie. I don't want to get into that quite yet, because there's still a lot more meat on this last episode, than it was. what about Steve? Steve, from the first episode to this episode, it's like night and day difference.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they've all grown, and that's
Well,
just
not only that, but that was not intentional. It was originally Steve was just the bully character, and that was who he was. He was gonna show up in the first season. He's gonna.
Well, yeah, he and Billy were supposed to be the same character.
Yeah, he shows up in the first season. He breaks Jonathan's camera. Does some other stuff.
Well, Jonathan was kind of pervy, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of pervy.
Yes, it was. I mean, you can say that technically he caught the monster, but that's not what he wanted to do.
Yeah. He was definitely kind of creepy.
Yep.
You know, I think I know what kept Steve alive. It was the hair. I mean, that's what kept people alive in the 80s. The person with the best hair never died.
Hey, it's that whole Samson thing.
That's true.
Exactly. So, and Delilah wasn't there to cut it off. His hair, that is. He has a weird. I don't know. Is the relationship that he has with Dustin? Is that like older brother, younger brother? That's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I think so.
but at the same time, I can explain it really simply. Dusty doesn't have a dad in the picture in the show at all.
Right.
Him and Eddie, him and Steve, he's always looking for that older brother, father kind of figure.
Yeah.
Whether the writers actually
Intended for it to be that.
right
that
or
way.
it just makes
Just
sense. It just makes sense. But I have no problem with it. And now that Eddie's no longer with us,
We don't know that.
yeah, we do.
Nope. I have a theory, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He is so coming back, and we'll get into that here soon. But not the way you think.
Oh no.
So we got Max, we got Mike. Okay, the whole Mike and Jonathan and Will. I want to say his real name, but I remember his name is Will. And Argyle. I want to hang out with Argyle. I'm not much of a pothead.
I did. For many, many years, I knew that guy.
Oh, I want to hang out with that guy. I probably would not have hung out with him at that age, but I want to hang out with that guy now.
The character or the real actor?
The character.
Okay, because
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying. That'd be, yeah, the character. It's just weird. Oh, did you know if you call the phone number that's on the bus, it'll take you to a real phone number? It's a real phone number, and it does work.
People have been doing that for a while now.
Yeah, typically, I mean, I know
If they put a phone number in there and it's not 555, it's a real number, and they want to see how many people.
Well, you did what I did because here's a little secret / spoiler or something that I'm gonna do probably, hopefully one day. I made a website, and in it there's a phone number, and I called it before I put it there because I didn't want it to be called, but I also didn't want it to be a 555 number. So he gave me the idea because I wanted to put something there, and there was already a insert your phone number here slot. So he gave me the idea to put on I don't know if modern telephones or cell phones or smartphone, whatever. I don't know if they have this, but below each number is 3 letters, and you choose one of the numbers based off of the letters that are there to spell something out.
Yeah, back in the day of pagers, we used to use this code where you would give a numerical message on a pager, and yeah.
They are there.
They still have them. They're still, we still have the letters underneath them. I mean,
So we would send out a numerical message, but then if you use that code on a regular phone, you could then find out what the letters were. You had 3 to choose from, but if you wrote it down, eventually it would start spelling out words, and you could then give actual, text messages.
Yeah.
Before there were, and we used to use that all the time.
was it the Army, the Navy, the military used to use that all the time back in its old code stuff they used during World War II and on.
Which I have to remind you guys, or bring something up real quick. While listening to Grave Peril, Harry tries to use a rotary phone, which means it's not in the current era. Grave Peril is sometime many decades ago, because there have not been rotary phones anywhere.
No. Hold on. I get where you're going, but I don't want to say that you're wrong, but you're wrong. It is the same era. But the phone in Dresden Files, a Jim Butcher's series, for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's a Jim Butcher novel. He can't use anything that was not built before the 40s. Old roller phones like that, the technology will let him use it, but it still doesn't work as well. He can't use modern-day smartphones or modern-day phones.
I didn't think it was his own phone.
No, I don't know if it's his phone or the office phone. It could have been his phone, but he has to use technology that is, basically old.
I don't even know if those actually technically work for him to get away with doing that, but okay.
That's author's prerogative.
Yeah, well.
Or DM prerogative, or a director's prerogative for Jack over there when he starts making his millions of dollars on, his 15-minute videos.
Reveal the name of.
Yeah.
No, because my last name's in the credits.
Well, later on.
Just call it Lava.
Really bad.
What was it? Call it Lava Lads Production Studio. You don't want to get it.
The thing is, he's come up with that name before, and I hated it then, and I still hate it now.
It sucks. It doesn't. It sucks. So back on topic. I do want to say in the chat, I see that there's 3 of you guys out there. If you want to say anything, I will highlight it, and we will talk about it, especially if it's on Stranger Thing. If you have any thoughts or questions of our opinions, please share, or just do what chat normally does and just have their own conversation that we look at and poke fun at from time to time.
Yeah.
Especially on Mac Chill. Yeah.
There's 2 conversations going. Sometimes there's even 3 going on.
Oh yeah. I love chat for that reason. But
the max I've seen is 5.
So Steve and Dustin's relationship is still solid, but it's kind of changed because Eddie showed up and Dustin's been hanging out with Eddie. Granted, Eddie's on the run, but I think Eddie has one. Not Eddie. I think Dustin has the type of personality where he could be friends with anybody, but you really need to get Dustin to be friends with him.
Yeah.
Because I think he's the smartest person in that group.
Yeah.
Well, other than maybe that one science teacher and Murray.
In the group.
I think he's smarter than the cops, but that's just me.
You mean in the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, in that group, he is the smartest. The 2 cops, I think the black gentleman as cop is just a cop of his era. He way over his head type nonsense going on, and the other cop, the white cop, I think he's just an idiot. I think his uncle got him the job type scenario. I think he's an idiot.
Wait, which one are you talking
He's
about?
the guy with the cop with glasses.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't. They're not very memorable.
He just has the personality. He's like, hey, I just kind of either bumped into this job, or my uncle got me this job, or whatever type of scenario.
Yeah, they seem like they're just kind of there to.
Town is.
They're just kind of there.
Just like here, so the wind doesn't try it.
It is like watching the Scooby Gang, just a little bit more grown up. Granted, Scooby had pot, but we're not going to talk about that.
I already got in trouble for
for last night's discussion.
Wait, what do you mean last night?
Because someone didn't understand what we were talking about.
Wait, what?
Took it the wrong way. Your mom, of course.
Wait, was I asleep when this happened? Because I think I fell asleep like 1 or 2 times after the Rona pills.
No, you were on camera.
No, I'm sorry. I will apologize.
No.
Wait, what?
We were, leading by example. Showing the little guy why you don't do such things until college, and even then,
College.
you're your own person.
Your choice.
And that's going to be many, many years off. And by then, who knows what could happen by then? So
we got Mike. I don't think we really need Mike for this season. I think Mike.
No. He's the leader.
I think we can do without Mike.
He's the leader. You wouldn't have L without Mike. Will defer to him every time because of reasons.
Funny.
Lucas and Mike have that
Lucas
camaraderie because of their they grew up first, if you will.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna take orders from Dustin unless it's on scientific matters.
Because
he's not the leader type. He's a follower. He's a follower just by his relationships so far.
If we look at season 1, the season 1 is where we get the most. Season 1 has the biggest emphasis on the main 4 and L2. We get the most, I guess, backstory, but we get the most there because they're the only. Well, not really. Again, Will went from he's the kid who disappeared to he's still the kid who disappeared to he's the kid who just wants to play D&D, and now he's the gay kid.
Granted, they picked Mike. They picked Mike up. Yeah, they're up. Shadow's upstairs. He probably has the AC on. Considering I could see the flag moving in the background, and that's where the
it is. I'll drop it down a notch, but that's all you're getting.
Yeah, man, it's hot. I don't blame you. But man, Lucas has already been replaced. I know I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. Lucas has been replaced by his sister.
That's true, but I think they're undoing that now. I think
with the way he kicked the crap out of that one guy, the jock,
I still think deserved better.
Yeah, he is a goddamn hero.
He'd be I'd say he'd be a hero if he wasn't very wrong.
Wait. The jock.
Yeah, the jock guy.
You're saying the jock's the hero.
He is a hero.
If he was right about everything, 100%.
He deserved what he got. I'm glad that SOB woke up while he was dying.
Well, he was still a hero. He was doing what he thought. He was doing what anybody else in that town would have applauded. Even if they knew everything, he still followed his convictions and did what he thought was right. If you thought that these kids were a bunch of Satan worshipers, that's what you do. That's what my friends and I would have done if my friends and I weren't the 4 kids already doing the Scooby-Doo thing,
doing rituals, trying to destroy the world,
or whatever.
The kid got what he. I'm sorry. This is where we're going to disagree. I know guys like that. I went to high school with guys like that.
Right, but what did he do that was wrong? He mistakenly took some kids playing Dungeons and Dragons, and Eddie, who actively acted like a Satan worshiper. Okay, and I hung out with lots of people like him. He's still my favorite character. But just look at it from
them arguing to know them. That's true. That statement. That's fair. That statement is very fair.
He had no reason. He was raised in a highly religious area with highly religious beliefs that. They said, hey, these people are saying. I mean, you call yourself the Hellfire Club. They weren't like. You call yourself the Hellfire Club.
I will give you that. Eddie did not help the situation. I will give you that.
And by doing this shit and acting the way he did in the lunchroom and things like that, he gave them every reason. Yeah, they should have asked a few more questions, but at the same time, but you don't ask. Who do you ask the questions? Do you ask the supposed Satan worshiping witchcraft playing around kid?
Yes.
And yet his own beliefs and teachings would have taught him that you cannot believe a single word they say. They're going to lie because of the religious teachings.
But okay, all of Indiana could take a wash. They can literally go for a walk. Just
because he was wrong about some things doesn't mean he wasn't doing what was right. Someone should have done something, and he did. He tried to do the right thing. Now, maybe his methods were a little iffy. Maybe his...
I do think that some of the other guys... I mean, here's the thing, though. He's swimming after the guy, and then one of his friends just flies up in the air and starts breaking apart.
Yeah, he saw witchcraft happening. He knew something was doing it.
Because... Let me say words. He saw his friend either swimming, and then all of a sudden his friend flies up in the air and starts breaking. And then down in the ocean, there's red glowing light just emerging from right underneath where that happened. And the guy he's swimming towards is doing all that very clearly provocative stuff. And has been doing that for a while.
Yelling at him. He was like, dude, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Eddie was trying to make his case, and the jock wasn't hearing it.
Because I wouldn't either.
There was a guy floating in the air.
If a witch tells you I'm not a witch, do you really going to listen to the words of a practicing, person like that? No, you really can't. Think about it, especially from...
Oh, see, I'm going to have to rewatch that. I thought they showed, because the way I remember it was Eddie was in the boat, trying to get away. Then you got the jock and his friends going into the water. You might be right. You might be right on that one. I might have to watch that scene again. I don't know. My problem is I don't think I like the jocks. Okay, I didn't like.
But you don't like religious people.
That's not true. I get along with my priest just fine, thank you. He might not just be a fan of mine, especially when I say Santa Claus is Odin, or make comments like that. I have nothing against religious people. I just have
that's just some people. You know he can't handle that shit, and you're just making the poor guy suffer.
He's not old either. He's like younger than I am.
Clearly he made some mistakes, but at the same time, he was the only one, trying to do the right thing.
The right thing.
Which was stop the
How many times in history did despots, bad people, use the argument, I'm doing the right thing? Didn't listen to what was actually going on, but they knew in their heart with a high charisma check, that they were doing the right thing. The cobblestones of hell are created by can be considered to be doing the right thing.
Yeah, I understand that, but he was just a little bit wrong as opposed to a lot wrong.
Well, here's the thing. The difference, I think, is that I'm gonna try to make things actually make sense here. What I think it is that his girlfriend, she's dead, and the last person that she was known for a fact to have talked to and where she was found dead is Eddie's house.
Oh yeah,
and Eddie is.
There was a lot of stuff not going in Eddie's way.
Yeah, pretty much every.
And some of it was his choices. I mean, he shouldn't have sold drugs. He shouldn't have got the jocks riled up at school. But I mean, Shadow, you're kind of like me in a sense back in high school, most likely. If you saw a jock, you're more likely to give him a finger than a high five.
We'll talk about that later.
That's not a no. That's not a no.
It depends. There were some that I played football for 2 years, but I also had long hair. So
okay. I hope Jack doesn't do that, because Jack seems to be a little bit more reasonable than both of us.
I mean, think about it. there's no way he's going to believe that his girlfriend was buying drugs from this guy. He had every reason to believe.
Oh yeah, especially in the 80s.
That she got lured through black magic to his trailer to then be sacrificed.
So Eddie was guilty.
Like he was almost as much a victim as she was.
Eddie was a victim by circumstance.
Yeah.
And
so was the jock.
The jock
he wasn't a victim by circumstance. Is that his girlfriend is dead. He knows his girlfriend died. The last person that she saw was Eddie, and everybody's telling him, yeah, she was buying drugs from him.
And Eddie ran.
I mean, to be fair,
let me put it this way: if Eddie didn't run, okay, and went into jail, and then said, "These kids will back me up," and called in everybody as witnesses, he would have been found innocent, not only because of that, because the government would have had to step in and move him.
You're talking about Owen. You're hopefully Owen would have stepped in. Dr. Owen would have stepped in.
They all would have had to.
They
would have had to take him into protective custody.
Okay. So this is where I'm going to play. Granted, I've been playing devil's advocate already a lot, but I'm just going to say I'm playing devil's advocate right now, especially in this. You're a cop, right? You have a weird-ass homicide on you. There's no way to explain it. It's the 80s, the height of the satanic panic. Oh, my God, we're already back to Salem with the witch trials type era. You got two TV personalities, the woman and the guy who got his nose broken in prison, saying that all D&D players are Satanists. Anybody who practice any kind of like this are Satanists. So this is the world you live in. This is the 80s all over again, right? You got Hold on. Let me finish. You live in a small town in Indiana, not California, but in Indiana, Midwest. Corn-fed dumbasses. Not all of them, but a lot of them. These kids come and tell you the guy that you arrested for brutally murdering the cheerleader, the head cheerleader, who has perfect grades, perfect life, and he lives in a trailer. And you have these kids that Hopper's not there. Hopper's not going to believe the kids because the other two idiots, the other two cops, haven't seen any of this. And these kids are saying, no, this evil force from the other side that was under the mall and everything that you don't believe in already tells you that Eddie is innocent. You're not going to buy that. I'm not saying, okay, I shouldn't say you but the normal person is not going to buy that.
I'm not talking the town. I'm talking they would have to go over the townsfolk's head and use the phone number that they had to the mysterious lady in the limo or whatever in the government car and say, hey, and that would have been it. They would have taken him into
Eddie got arrested. Then the black suits, the men in black, for whatever term you want to use,
would have taken him out of the town, and that would be it.
Yeah, but he was still, by public point of view, would have been found guilty, and no one would believe the kids. The guy was screwed right out of the gate. And the jock, maybe I don't have a problem that he died. I don't have a problem that he died the way he did die. I don't know. I dealt with guys like him before. I don't have an issue with that. Does that make me a bad person? Probably, but I can. These are my sins. I can live with it. Yeah,
but the question is, were you a bad person before you started watching Stranger Things?
Yes, I was an asshole before I started watching Stranger Things. Anybody who knows me knows I'm an asshole.
I mean, he was just, like I said, he was just as much a victim as many other characters in there in the show.
Yeah. No, Bob didn't need to die. Poor Bob. I feel sorry for Bob. That is a rough way to go.
That's my point. Is you were made to feel sorry for him by the writers. you were also made to feel that the jock got what he deserved because he was a typical,
asshole.
Guy that everybody who wasn't handsome got bullied by in school. Everybody who wasn't like him got bullied by a guy just like that. I didn't, but maybe I was that guy. Maybe that's why I find so hard for him. But everybody knows a guy like that, and again, they're just using that stereotype to have him as a scapegoat, so to speak, for some of the things that happen. Yeah, I miss Bob too. Bob was one of the greatest characters ever. But so was Eddie.
I want more hobbits to show up on Stranger Things and die. Let
me sum it up real simply. Now that the Doc is dead, I don't think he's burning in hell. If there is a God and any religion works,
Papa
he is in hell.
or Owen? Papa or Dr. Owen?
No, the Jock.
Oh, the Jock.
He's not burning in hell. By all religious tenets that we are pretty familiar with, he is in heaven. He got a little stern talking to at the pearly gates, saying you're only getting in here on a basic technicality, but you're welcome to come on in.
Maybe the Jock was bullied by his dad. If this was
I don't think that's relevant. He was doing what any good Christian would have done in that case.
Christian. Oh, I hate that term.
I mean,
anyways,
he didn't use the most nice techniques to do so, but
right.
I don't think he. I'm not even going to say I don't think he deserved to die. I think he had to die because there was no way around that.
To be fair, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I've read and I've saw in videos, they're all saying the Jock was a little bit of a racist, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
I don't either. But I know they also offered him up as a sacrifice to the wokest out there. It's like, oh, he's beating up a black guy, so don't worry, we're going to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, one of his best, and before that,
one of his best friends was black.
Like one of the entire team member, he was like one of the, how do I say this? Because he was, first off, there's literally nothing in the entire show that says that. There's, as far as I remember, he's not Billy, where he's saying, "Hey Max, don't hang out with guys like that." He's not Max.
I was about to say, Billy. If somebody wants to paint Billy as a racist, I'd buy that for $1.
Absolutely.
It's not like, was he a racist? No, he said, "Hey Max, why are you hanging out with guys like that?"
Yeah.
I mean, he was very much a racist.
Yeah, and he, but he still died a hero. Think about that. He died.
True,
he died a hero. So if Billy can find redemption, I'm pretty sure whatever the Jock's name was, he was allowed redemption as well.
There's moment.
Billy was way worse.
Way worse. But there's one moment, I'm kind of using the line from Pirates of the Caribbean when it came to Jack. Does one moment of goodness erase a lifetime of crap? Yeah, he saved his sister and the Scooby Gang the best of his abilities. But is that enough? Does martyrdom? He is a martyr. Enough of a plus to erase all the bigotry and everything else he was doing?
Wait, what?
No, it's Miss Thirsty. But yeah, he is feeling better, Thurston. Thanks.
Damn, you distracted me. Now I need to get a brush. Where's the water?
Uh-oh.
No, I have a brush. I need the water.
It's right in front of you. That'll work.
This brush will work?
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Thurston. He's feeling better. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that comment when I was watching.
Because you're not looking at the comments.
No, I have been.
I don't believe that.
I am. And hi, Jessica. I don't recall seeing you here before. But nice to meet you. Hope you guys will sub to the big guy and our channel later on when you get a chance. It's always nice to have new faces come on into the chat.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an ass. I could be being an ass towards Billy. I didn't like Billy. I mean, the handful of characters.
I did not like Billy in any Well, I didn't like Max that much either, but Billy, I didn't like him.
No, Max.
Max.
No, Max.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody
wants to see that, Max.
No.
As much as these,
Great to see you, Max.
Hold on.
Yes, great to see you, but no.
As much as these two promote a wholesome show, with me, the Watson scenario is already out the window because I'm not John Boy. But that being said, no one needs to see your Stranger Thing, Max. We don't.
And Max, no, I'm not going to give you guys a hard time over the show today. I know how you and Heathen are. That's just my personal philosophy. I want to see people push themselves whenever they can. Whatever holds you back. I want to see
a picture of my cat. Oh my God.
Nice save.
Nice
save. Only thing would be better than that would be a ferret. Who
Ferret's
summoned
cool.
the Legion? Who summoned the Legion? Apparently Eddie did. So okay, we're bouncing around, but that's cool. No,
I don't think we've had a single.
We're talking about the topic at least. We're talking about Stranger Things. We are. I want to. Like I said, I'm wired. I was wired from the moment I started this thing.
Wait, what?
So
You didn't sleep on the night after the show.
Oh.
So I'm watching Hopper fighting off the Demogorgon the last time after they killed the Demon Dog.
Yeah. That was such a
Excalibur of Excaliburs.
The fact that Hopper dropped his sword and didn't bring it back home to the States with me just absolutely irritated me.
Yeah, it was
the sword. They said it was the creators of the show said it was one of the original swords from the movie Conan. It was Conan's sword.
And he didn't keep it? Why? I mean, I get it. I guess they couldn't afford to use it as just a random prop in the background on his wall. Like they're eating food and you just see the sword. You can't really afford.
We don't know that. We actually don't know if he brought it home or not.
That's true, but he probably didn't pick it up afterwards.
Oh man!
I mean, it makes sense.
No, yeah, it was a replica Conan sword.
I was actually, other than the Eddie playing bass guitar. Was that a bass?
No. Oh my God!
I'm not a guitar guy, so give me a little bit.
It was a Gibson electric guitar.
Gibson. Other than him playing Puppet Master by Metallica, which hadn't
been written yet. But yeah, what? Okay. Which hadn't been written yet.
Okay, did it have to be though?
Yeah, it did. It would have been better if they actually chose a song from the era. But it's cool. I mean, I grew up with the guy. I grew up with the guys from Metallica. I mean, it literally grew up around them in Huntington Beach, and it's cool. It's cool. You picked a good song. I could have picked maybe another song. But for whatever reason, they didn't ask me. I get it.
Yeah, they wouldn't ask you. This man has a problem with expecting people.
How many times I've listened to that song now? It's like I did dishes listening to that show to that one. Then I put on Kansas Wayward Son. I don't know why, but that was like.
It's a good song, especially live. If you, I'll send you a link to a live version of that. The guy who one of the guys in the band, I forget his name. It's escaping me right now. The guy is one of the most amazing musicians ever. He's playing the keyboard, playing the bongos, singing, doing all that, just running around. A short little musician guy. I'm just like, holy crap! How are you not way more famous? Except for this, Dust in the Wind, and maybe one or two other songs.
Dust in the Wind. I thought that was Scorpion.
Oh my God!
No, Winds of Changes.
You lose your rocker card immediately. Hand over your rocker card.
Hey! I get one pass. I get one pass. I get one pass.
Okay, we'll let you play just one time, but I'm keeping my eye on you, man.
I still think Freshwater's better.
Ooh.
Oh, for Big Brush.
Is that a band?
I'll get you.
Wait, what?
No, I'm thinking of a song. I just thought of a different song. I think he should have played Black Betty from.
You probably think of Winds of Change by Scorpions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. See, that's how good I am.
What? What do you mean that's how good you are? What?
I thought I knew what song he was thinking.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a German. Scorpion is a German band that
They can barely speak English, and yet they sing in English, which is weird. No, I just don't really like them. They were very popular with some people I knew, and most of those people were women. They were one of those bands that were in the business to get laid, and that was it.
So was Def Leppard, and they did it well.
So excellent reference.
What?
All we are is dust in the wind. Socrates. It's a reference from Bill and Ted, which you have.
Well, actually, yeah, it's actually part of his philosophy. But outside of that, yeah, it was on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I never got into it. I mean, they got some good songs. Don't get me wrong. The Zoo is a great freaking song.
That's fair.
It's actually a halfway decent album, but it was just one of those bands that got promoted in my area when there were other bands out there that were better. That's Def Leppard there, Thurston.
I like Def Leppard. I grew up on Def Leppard.
I like Def Leppard too because they were kind of like a punk metal band.
Right.
Not actually music or anything else, but the sort of their upbringing and what have you. And when the fact that when their drummer lost his arm,
and he found a way to keep,
and they kept him. That to me, that's true friendship. The likes a lot of people, in the business would have just said, "Sorry, dude, you're out. You only got one arm. We can't have a one-arm drummer and continue to play, headbanging mediocre bullshit." And yet they did, and they continued to do so, not realizing that the fact that he only had one arm just meant that as they got older, they could all, slow down at about the same speed because, drummers
They just actually just released a new album not that long ago.
Exactly. I mean, they're old as shit now, but whatever.
So did Scorpion. Scorpion released another album. I heard Motley Crue. I know this is off topic, but I heard Motley Crue is going touring. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I grew up with those guys too in my area.
No one needs any more Vincent. Vince needs to go.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. It's intermission time because I gotta make a sequel.
No, it's not. It's not intermission.
Tell my bladder that.
It's all right, Jack. When you get old, things don't work like they used to, and Dad's going to tell me to go take a walk when he gets off here. Take a jump off of the bridge with Dan.
At least I can actually speak now.
So, I don't know. I didn't care much for the Jock. The Jock dying did not bother me whatsoever. I think he actually kind of got what he deserved.
I don't know. I don't think that the Jock got what he deserved, but I do think that the weird fat what was his name? I don't remember his name. The weird I might even be thinking of a guy from the Real Men movie now that I think about it. But the fat
fair enough.
The fat guy with the ginger fat guy, the other Jock.
Yeah.
Not the black guy, not Lucas, not the Jock, but the ginger fat one.
Yeah.
I think he got what he deserved, which was to be completely forgotten because he just disappeared.
Yeah, he kind of did.
He tackles what was her name? Erica?
Yeah.
He tackles Erica, then she gets out, and he just kind of disappears after that. You don't see him die.
Erica kicked him square in the nards.
That's true.
And that wasn't like a lift kick. That was that was a full stop. Granted, I think the guy had it coming. I don't think you should ever put your hands on women in any scenario. But that's just me. And Sean, I agree. All these guys will be playing at county fairs soon. I saw Ted Nugent, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and who was the third one? with Sebastian Bach, Skid Row at a county fair. But I don't like jocks. I mean, granted, I kind of was one, sorta. I never did school sports, but I was always doing some kind of sport when I was growing up. That's why it took me so long to get into RPGs, because I was doing other things. But I just knew guys like that guy, and I wanted to put all their heads through the locker. Actually, there was one guy who I tried to put his head through a locker, but that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Do I have a somewhat of a violent past? Probably, but that's okay. I don't know. What do you think of them using the Conan sword? Do you think it was just an aimless throw-in, or do you think it was pretty cool?
I think it was cool.
I liked it. And he even, I mean, 80, when did
why that scene was so short, though? No, not really. But, I liked it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you're completely right there, Max. When Sebastian Bach shows up on Trailer Park Boys was awesome. Oh, yeah. What are you painting?
Oh.
Let me solo screen that, because that is. It looks like a. Are you trying to make it look like a bee?
Yeah.
The Xenomorph Hornet.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
My hands are twitching again.
I'm almost half tempted to buy one off of your dad, so he can just send me it put together, because I don't want to do that nonsense, and I'll just paint it.
Yeah, it's good quality. It's
that is really awesome.
I don't think we have any more.
Oh, that's fine. I don't know if you know this, but the first movie I saw at the drive-thru was Aliens. So I've had a long history with those movies.
Told me that.
Oh yeah, because I was having a conversation with somebody on Facebook, and what was the first time you saw death in the movie as a kid? And a lot of people said Bambi or other movies like that, Old Yeller. I'm like, Aliens. What do you mean Alien? I mean Alien, when the chest burster pops out of John Hurt's chest. That was my first experience. How old were you? 4, 5, maybe 3. Then there was that then there was the cartoon where you see Bambi eating grass, and all of a sudden Godzilla's foot stomps, and that was another thing from my childhood. So I'm trying to stay on topic, but I'm kind of waiting for your dad to get back. If you were going to, so Max wasn't that far off. Yeah, mine was a drive-in. If you could pick, okay, so you got Eddie on top of his trailer blasting out that song.
Yeah.
If you could change it to any song, what would it be, or would you leave it to that song?
I think I'd leave it. I mean, I can't really think of, because I think that the song's good, but also they tried to do a sort of symbolism to it, which I think they probably could have done better.
Oh yeah, Puppet Master having the big guy being a hive mind, and he was the Puppet Master. Yeah, I get it.
They probably could have done better, but at the same time, I feel like they chose it for a reason. I think it worked.
There's a lot of symbolism behind that song with the show. I completely agree.
Yeah, I think that's why they picked it more than the guitar part.
Well, the guy, like I was saying, the actor who played Eddie could actually play it on the guitar. He could,
but not all of it.
Well, no. Well, they didn't have drums. They didn't have everything.
No. What I mean is they had another an actual guitarist do part of that scene.
Right. No, he He was on some British talk show, and they asked him, "Hey, can you actually play that?" And he's like, "Yeah." Then they gave him a electric guitar, and he was playing the song.
Right, but they, for whatever reason, they still had another guitarist.
Yeah, I mean, technically in the show he didn't play it at all, realistically, because he might have gone through whoever was going through the hand motion, sure, but that was.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would change the song. I mean, I could think of some interesting Led Zeppelin songs that could have been interesting. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I don't know. Maybe Black Betty.
No.
By Ram Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Ballroom Blitz. No. That's just stupid. But so Eddie, I'm glad that, and right before Eddie dies, he shoves Dustin back to the really real world.
Yeah.
And he finds courage.
Also, my dad pointed this out. When he was riding the bike, it didn't have any tires.
Yeah, there was no inner tube or rubber on the bike.
No.
He was riding on metal rims. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you know how hard that is? You know how lucky he was to have gotten as far as he did without the rims just crumbling under him?
I'll have to rewatch that.
And I did make the comment that he kind of did run, but whatever. It was running toward them, not away from them. But that's just me being a smart ass.
Yeah, that's
but
Eddie
will go down. Yeah, he stepped up to the challenge. He
had his moment, before the crucifixion, as it were, and he was the greatest character in the show as far as I'm concerned. Even though Michael will always be my favorite character in the show, just because.
Really useless.
He's not. He's not. Trust me, I know exactly what he is. He's the leader of the four and the heart of the four. And
funny.
Wait, aren't those guys normally the first ones to die when something serious happens?
I don't think he's going to die. I really don't think he'll die. I honestly hope he and 11.
I don't think they want him to die, though.
Right. I know they don't. I honestly hope. I honestly hope he and Elle grow up, get married, have kids, and have a whole new generation of Stranger Things adventures with their kids, etc. In the future. It would make for a great way to make a new Stranger Things.
Yeah, but why would they want to do it that way?
Why wouldn't they? Because then they'd have a reason to have another 11 through birth and natural circumstances.
Well, there's still that Indian chick somewhere out there, Pakistani, wherever the hell she was.
Nobody liked her.
Yeah, everybody hated her. She was an awful.
But if you do a time travel into the future, you could pick a different actress.
I knew at least one individual in my life was that girl. And I'm not going to say I dated her, but I dated her back in the day. But she was an awful, awful character. And I think they're going to bring her back.
I don't think so.
Well, I think...
even if they wanted to bring her back, they just can't because everybody would hate it. I mean, everybody hated
her. To answer that question is yes. I have seen heavy metal. I used to pick up the heavy metal magazines.
No, I'm working on it. That is, unfortunately, there's a scene in there that he's going to do one of these.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was epic. I've seen it 100 times. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that there's a whole bunch of movies and books and things you need to catch up on before you graduate high school.
That wasn't my sophomore. That was my junior and senior year of high school. I got free tickets from Elvira in person every Friday night for Midnight at the Movies
for both Friday and Saturday night at the Orange Mall. My buddies and I would go and watch either heavy metal, The Song Remains the Same, Pink Floyd, The Wall, or more likely Rocky Horror Picture Show, because that's where all the girls were. And we did that every weekend for 2 years. And heavy metal was one of my favorites to actually watch.
Oh, thirsty! Yeah, if you're talking about the last movies, Tommy.
Tommy was one of them also.
Tommy,
and Wizards. I think Wizards was another one.
You shot
We didn't really
the name. I can't remember the full scene, but yeah, I've seen that. I saw it. I do not have a baby face. I have a beard. There's a difference. If I didn't have the beard, I would have a baby face, and you would be right. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right, this is when the intermission should have happened.
So okay, so none of us would change the song. Everybody was happy with him playing the Metallica song.
Yeah, it was just to me, here's the thing.
Didn't like the song?
No, I would have done. If they were planning on getting rid of him just to get rid of him, I would have waited one more year to do it to get rid of Eddie.
It's not like he could have gone back and have a normal life. He'd still be wanted by the law. The doctors are not dead.
To get rid of him.
Well,
typically, they don't do that.
Well, no, I mean they did it. They did what they did to continue his arc of always running away and finally standing up and dying for the cause, which is one of the reasons why he's such a great character.
Typically, character arcs can, in fact, typically they have an ending which is contrast to the beginning, and in this scenario, oftentimes means dying, which it was.
Right, I just would have liked to have seen him around a little bit longer. I'm just going to say that.
Well, yeah, but he was brought in.
I think he's coming back.
I still don't know how.
All right, how could he possibly come back? He was gutted and shredded and bled out.
Hold on, I'm looking. Metallica. What year did this past season was 84, 85 this past season? What was the year?
I honestly don't know.
Because Puppet Master by Metallica came out in 86.
All right. I don't.
Really? Was it that long ago?
Want to go to.
Wow.
When?
Yeah, maybe then.
What are two-party cryptocurrencies?
So, Vecnar, the main bad guy in this show is. I mean, most of the series have been using D&D as a reference point.
Yes.
Hardcore D&D.
Yeah.
They named the monsters after
except
D&D
for maybe
characters.
It's 86.
So the show came out in this season was 86.
What?
The season was in 86. The album came out in 86. So 10-1, he could have had it. I'm not saying he could have been able to play it, but I'm saying he
86
had it.
also. It was 86 also.
So there's some.
That's all. That's fine then.
But what if they didn't? What if it came out later?
No, I just looked up all questions.
So
that's why.
This might come as a shock to you, but years are really long. So.
Not long enough for it to be a huge issue here in this specific circumstance. Smart ass.
God, I love you, Jack. I really do. Oh, that's awesome. So Vecnar is based off a D&D character in Forgotten Realms. Most of you guys who watch this probably already know this. Anyways, at one point he had a follower that turned against him. And his name was, I'm looking at Klaus? Kaz, who, if I'm remembering correctly, became undead in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they stick with the theme that they're going with, Eddie's going to play that. Eddie will turn into a variation of a vampire because it was bats that killed him. It was those. They were. and he will represent that character. Now, at the end of season 5, if the Vecna of Stranger Things loses his arm and one of his eyes, then we know what's up.
Yeah.
Well, season 5 is supposed to be the very end, though.
Or the end of this lot.
Well, yeah, there was a book, and there was, I think, another book.
No, they're doing a spin-off. I don't know how many years in the future, but there's going to be a spin-off.
I think it's going to turn into like a big franchise, but there's going to be other.
Yeah, there's already a Stranger Things store in Los Angeles.
Okay, there's stores for everything in Los Angeles.
I want one of the shirts, extra fat. Max has something to say.
The last part is a little weird, but guessing you were in a hurry there, Max.
Not if you keep talking like that. Homer Simpson and Bart, come on.
Yeah.
Ivan Grant to this past, was it Saturday, I was talking to Bruce, and he was talking about Shelbyville and Springfield, and of course your dad had to throw in, Simpsons, really, guys? I was like, yeah.
So I'm wondering, is Bruce Homer Simpson or
we'll have to ask him that. So that's my include. That's
one of the odds, I mean, right?
That's my theory. That's a little bit of theory crafting. Is Eddie's not gone? They're going to bring back the actor. He's going to play that role, and he's going to be there at the end to help kill off the main bad.
That would be pretty interesting, actually. I didn't think about it like that, mostly because I didn't think they would follow the Vecna lore that much.
I do know that they mentioned,
which would be interesting too, because then they could have the hand and eye, having gotten lopped off, land in different parts of Earth and become earthly artifacts, like the original Dungeon Master's Guide, and then you'd have someone popping in the eyeball in their missing socket, and someone attaching the hand to their missing stump, or their stump. And
God.
Can't really miss the stump.
Imagine if Vecna's dad got hold of the eye, dear old Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund, while he's sitting in the mental hospital, magically or for one odd reason, the eyeball appears in front of him, and he just plops into one of his eyeballs. And his hand. I mean, this could be the birth of Freddy right here now. I don't know. I mean, I know that's a stretch.
No, what happened? The way that this happens is so Vecna's dead. His eye is gone. His arm also gone. The big arm claw thing that he uses is gone too. And because of the whole world splitting into 4 pieces, because of that, the insane asylum that he's locked in, it got torn straight open, and he can just walk out. So he's walking out. He's blind, but he's sitting there. He hears it. He can not really see it, but he can kind of sense it in some weird way because it's his son doing all this weird stuff. So he kind of goes out, but he's there for a long time, and then he eventually decides to feel whatever is going on because there's some weird energy around it. It reminds him of his son, so he goes out towards it, and then he somehow he's wandering throughout the wasteland because everything's gone now. The world has been destroyed. I mean, Vecna's dead, but he's the entire thing. The earthquake, I think, still happened because the earthquake can't really just undo itself. So he's walking around, and then he somehow finds the one thing that I'm not entirely sure how he would notice the eye and then put it in, but he does that, and maybe the hand's there too. He can see now. Maybe as he gets closer to the eye, he's attracted to it because he gets pulled towards it. Boom! We have Freddy Krueger.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy a lot of crappy movies for $1.
You're not getting the reference, are you?
Yeah, a certain scientific movie comes to mind
No, actually, a different movie comes to mind.
No,
And one
no,
that
the
people-
reference. I'd buy that for $1. You have any idea where that came from, Jack?
Isn't that RoboCop?
Yeah, I buy that for $1. Like, what the hell?
I have not seen that.
But oh man, yeah, no, I think that'd be a fun,
That was-
that'd be a fun movie to review with you guys. RoboCop. But so we talked about Eddie's death a little bit. We talked about the Excalibur of Excalibur showing up right behind Hopper and all the damn, and all the damn places in the world. It shows up in a Russian gulag.
Why was it there? Why did they have that?
I had a problem.
Why did they have that sword?
Oh, you know why? You know why? I know why.
Why?
Because in the room where they had all the weapons on the wall for the prisoners to fight the demodogs, that was probably one of them.
How?
Well,
Oh,
that
how?
doesn't
Because
explain why it was there in the
Russians
first-
were buying peanut butter and Levi's. I'm certain that a replica Conan sword would have also been on the list.
Could you get a replica Conan sword at that time? Okay, this is 86. Was Conan even a movie in 86?
Do you really want me to do the search?
Yes,
I got it. I'm doing. I got it.
Too bad, because that allows him to look up more cryptocurrency scams.
Okay, Conan, the first movie came out in 82. So in theory, yes. I didn't know. Did they make replica stuff for old movies back then? I thought that
Oh
was
yeah,
like
yeah, they did. Atlantic
Okay.
Cutlery has probably been in business longer than that.
Okay. I'm just curious because I know replica. Yes, Max, you're right.
Because I actually have a replica of the sword from the movie Highlander.
Oh,
So
that sort of always bothered me. The whole concept of that whole scenario bothered me. They had a New Yorker playing a Scot, and they had a Scot playing an Egyptian. I'm like, what the fuck? I know Sean
Christopher
Connery.
Lambert?
What? What was
Christopher
that?
Lambert.
Yeah, he's from Upper New York.
Oh,
He does European movies. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's
the
from
fact
Upper
that he's
New
still
York.
doing movies being completely blind blows me away. I saw him in Beowulf, and he couldn't see a goddamn thing, and yet, we need him. That's the guy we want. Like, wow.
He can act his ass off if you give him the right role.
That's got to put him up in the ranks of one of the best actors ever. He can act like he can see.
That's fair. All right.
Well, you're right.
So,
I couldn't do that.
The U.S. military sends a death squad
Yeah, those guys are assholes.
to kill off everybody in that little hidden laboratory.
Yeah,
Um,
that guy was.
So
I think he
if-
committed war crimes there.
No, he didn't. He was well within the purview of national security.
Unfortunately, national security covers a lot of different weird shit.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Okay. So if we're going to talk about people getting their good moments at the end or the moments of redemption, we say not Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. Billy got his when he saved his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Eddie kind of got his got his when he turned around and actually, fought back, poor bastard. I'm so glad they didn't kill off Hopper. He was on my death list on my Deadpool. Hopper was so on my Deadpool.
No.
Max was also, to be fair, on my Deadpool though too.
We didn't like Max very much, but we said that again.
We still don't like Max.
I like Max more. See, there's the problem. I like Max more than I like Mike, and you is like Mike more than you like Max. I see how it works. And Lucas
I can't think of. There's almost nothing about Max that I like.
Max
What I
got
liked
better
about
this
her,
season.
what I liked about her most was her relationship with Lucas. I thought that was awesome.
Feeling persecuted.
Why are you feeling persecuted there? Oh, Max, duh. I didn't think of it. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
not you, Max. You're
yeah.
not a ginger. You have a soul, Max. We're talking about the
That's not
soulless,
nice.
the soulless ginger in Stranger Things.
I mean, I think she can. I think the actress did a good job with the character she was given.
She didn't. I just didn't like the character.
Yeah, the character is. You know, I have nothing against her personally, except she has no soul. But
you can't say that.
That's not how that works. Nothing against her personally. Because she has no soul.
You're right. Of course, I can say that. She has no soul.
Nothing against her personally because she has no soul. That's brilliant.
Well, if you have no soul, you can't really, have anything held against you.
That's what I in fact pointed out.
Thank you, Max. I in fact did. I am a college graduate, and that's an old joke.
Wow, your son. Where? Did you guys get what you? What? Go for it.
It's just she was just the most. She could rival Michael with the teenage angst. And the best of them. She was just.
I think that was
everything about her was just like
they did intentionally.
Yeah, I mean,
she comes from a shitty household. Her brother is Billy. Her stepdad was an abusive alcoholic. Her mom was a drunk, at least a drunk. I don't know if she had anything else going on for her, and good or bad, but she was a drunk. So if you're raised in that environment where you're treated like shit damn near by everybody and you're ignored by your mom.
And you have no soul?
No, I'm not saying she doesn't have a soul. Jesus.
Sorry, I had to throw that in.
You're going to have to be kind of going to be a little bit of an asshole. You're going to be that personality if you come from that setup. I mean, fucking Mike, his dad is a fucking piece of crap. But his mom's pretty cool.
The dad also has no soul. I'm just going to put that up.
Yeah.
It's the most rapid.
The dad, the actor.
Although actually,
a good job of not
I think he said something in the last episode that actually almost redeemed like 1% of his existence when he was talking about what they were talking about on the news. He had that kind of conspiracy theory, awakenness going on.
What?
Which I have
he didn't.
But
he just sat on the TV and looked at the news and was like, "Oh, they're talking about Satan, not again." That's all he said.
So it's something. There's something else part of it, but yeah.
He was looking at the TV. He's like, "Oh, it was just an earthquake. I can't believe."
Mike's mom was about ready to have an affair with Billy.
Dude, having been in that situation,
what?
I get it.
You get it. What?
Women do things like that all the goddamn time. Trust me, it used to be my job to watch them do that. Okay?
Wait, what?
When husbands are worried about their wives cheating on them, they hire people to follow the wives around. And the wives, if you think your wife is cheating on you, she's cheating on you. Period. End of sentence. Same with the husband.
That works both ways. If you think your spouse is stepping out. Or if your spouse is accusing you of cheating and you know you're not, 10 to 1 he is or she is. It's.
I was going to say that. You beat me to that one. Yes. People cheat and it happens every single day and it happens more often than you want to know about. So my advice is.
I'm just saying, how big of a walking fucking. I don't even know what the hell his problem was.
Billy?
No, not Billy. The dad. The dad.
The dad was
I don't think has a name.
The dad was the typical father of that era who worked his ass off all day, did everything, to put food on the table, and when he got home, just wanted to, relax in one of two ways, and his way was the TV, and
I'm kind of glad that I was either raised by my grandparents or a pair of freaking teenagers. Crap. I think I. That would have sucked.
I assure you that in that neighborhood that Michael lived in, there were 30 other dads just like that.
That's no way to be a dad.
No, it's not. But that's how the 80s were, and even the 70s, and even the 90s. Dads did what they did and came home and did not have an ounce of energy left for almost anything because of their mind-numbing jobs.
That's
It's just
the
way it is.
Yeah, I get it, and that sucks. I mean, that just really sucks.
Get a job you like, and that won't happen. It's pretty much,
But okay, if the dad dies, hypothetically, are we gonna miss the dad?
No, because he doesn't really do anything. He has maybe if he maybe has 1 or 2 pages of dialogue, and that's it.
Lucas's parents can disappear too. If we're using that as the argument, Lucas's parents can disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin's mom needs to stay. She's a werewolf, but at least she fucking cares.
Yeah, because not only does he have maybe 1 or 2, maybe 1 or maybe 2 if he's been there long enough, because it's not like Lucas's parents where they only showed up briefly in season 2.
Right, but I still get the impression that they were actually pretty strict.
They actually exist.
Yeah, they were. They seemed like actually pretty strict and caring, Or
every parents in the 80s were strict. Oh my God, it was the parents that we have now, me included, a whole lot more forgiving in areas than what parents were back like in the 80s.
No, I mean by just subtle things. The way the house was furnished, etc. It looked like both parents were working parents, and they were a little bit more ambitious and a little bit more attuned and attentive and aware of what was going on, with their family.
When it comes to parents, what still gets me is the parent, the father, out of Dustin's girlfriend's house. That whole household. I knew households like that. I don't get wrong. I knew households like that.
I think that was some sort of callback to something in their own personal experience.
Probably.
The Duffer Brothers, that they knew a family like that, and they're gonna go, and they were like, let's throw that in, because it was just weird.
Yeah,
we grew up with that kind of thing going on.
I thought it was, or maybe it was just haha. Look at these funny Mormons.
No, I would bet money. I would bet money they actually. I mean, we used to have friends. Remember, Josh and them, and they were.
Yes.
It was just like that. They had literally like 6 kids that would come over and visit Jackie when he was younger, and they were the greatest kids we've ever met in a lot of respects. It was sad when they moved away and stopped coming to visit with him, because all the ages in the family, they were just of the kids, and they ranged the gamut from a little bit older to Jackie to like 4 or 6 years older, and they were the nicest dang kids I've ever met in my life.
Get that sometimes in Catholic families, I've noticed that whole.
They were just absolutely amazing.
But religion aside, yeah.
Well, I don't even care. They were nice people.
Yeah,
in every possible. If you needed anything, they would be there. We never needed anything, but you could just tell that they were just, and they were absolutely, genuinely nice. It was just like in their DNA. They couldn't help it, except the one older daughter who absolutely hated coming over. Remember the adopted daughter? Nope. The black girl? Nope. You don't remember her?
I did not know that she existed.
Oh, okay. Well, you were really young. But yeah, I think the Duffer Brothers just knew a family like that and wanted to put them in there. And
I kind of want that family to get their own show, to be completely honest. I want that family to get their own show.
It would have to be centered around Dusty's girlfriend to make it, but it would definitely be humorous, but Yeah, we need to see more of her too because she was actually a pretty charming character.
I mean, that and the what was it? The oldest daughter kind of kicked it off with Argyle, which is scary.
Not at all. Not at all. The black girl would have been that girl from your old friends. She would have been that girl, the one who had all the responsibilities of keeping the house, and the first opportunity to run off with a stoner, she would have done so.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Unfortunately, unfortunately, that does make sense. But was there anything in this past episode that you would have changed, or are you guys basically happy with the way it went?
Well, aside from the lore implications of the whole him bringing it down and maybe either being in control of the entire thing or being the mind flayer, and Henry is more than just Alpha. He's everybody all at the same time.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. If that's the implication, I didn't like it.
Here's the thing. I would have to believe that 11 not only opened up a doorway, but created the world in which to send him.
Which doesn't make sense because we see
I don't
stuff.
think she created. I don't think she. I give that she opened up the door.
Therefore, with all the laws of physics that I'm going to call into this argument, the upside down existed for a very long time with creatures. There would be a supreme being, whether it's the president or the mind flayer, that controlled everything. Just because of otherwise, the world was created when she opened the doorway. Since it wasn't, then that means whatever is up there in the sky, the big mind flayer, giant spider cloud thing, that's probably. I'm not saying that it's either subservient to Vecna in working in tandem with it, or it's more powerful than Vecna. Those are your three choices, right?
No, I think what it is that I think what they imply. What I hope it is that he went down there, found the creature, and because the creature was all powerful there, he had to start working with it as number 2. But what I think is more likely is that he went down there and it's just a barren wasteland with some monsters roaming about. Because we see that everything's yellow, it's rocks, it's a massive desert with some mountains. There's a constant storm.
But here's another thing.
Let me finish. I need to finish at least one statement.
I'll allow it.
Missed. He's roaming around. You see the demodogs going up the mountain, and then he comes across the smoke. And because you see him raising his hand, move this. There we go. You see him raising his hand, bringing. There we go.
It's gonna fall.
Doesn't matter. Bringing it down, and into the spider shape. We also see him drawing the same thing that Will drew, the exact same thing that Will drew. It seems like it was just this wasteland with some monsters there, with no order, no nothing, and then he came in, created the Mind Flayer, and sort of united everything in his weird ideal, and created the hive mind and took control over everything and brought some sort of existence to it, which is why every time we see it afterwards, there's structures there. It's a reflection of the real world.
I think a little differently. I think that it's actually, to me, it seems more likely that El created it.
I don't think so.
Because of the fact that it's an exact upside-down parody of our world.
But it wasn't at the beginning. When you see that, it's just a desert. There's nothing there. It's not a.
But then how did the motorhome that was there and all the other buildings appear?
Afterwards, they appeared, and remember the day that Will showed up, or the day that Will disappeared, which was also the same day that 11 opened the new portal, is the day that it's stuck in. Which means what I think happened is that it was this desert wasteland with maybe Vecna in control of it, maybe nobody in control of it, maybe the Mind Flayer in control of it. And then 11 opened the portal, which caused it to instantaneously
Clone.
copy. Yeah.
Then that would make somebody more powerful enough to do all of that.
Which the way that it's been going, the speculations via the interweb is, you guys. I see where both of you guys are going with this one. There's a theory that Vecna was actually on the first episode. He is what dragged Will to the Upside Down world. Vecna showed up, took Will, and the only thing that saved Will was the fact that he kept singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go" song that his brother gave him to, because music is a big factor in that. He wasn't able to break Will.
That's true, but I'm pretty sure we see when he's hiding in the basement, and also the D&D thing, I think, kind of makes that a bit weird. But maybe just to hide that fact, or not really hide it, but to make it make sense at the time. But he's hiding in the shack with the gun. The light turns out, he turns around, and you see the flower open up. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does, because Henry, it's not like Henry got transported over to that world with no juice. He was he was a very powerful
manipulator. Right, but I don't think he was powerful enough to alter.
But the whole world kind of just bowed down to him, because it went from, what color you said, yellow, brown, black,
right,
to the same color as the spider, which he has such a hard on for freaking Rack.
Right, that's why I think the Upside Down is sort of like the equivalent of her sending him to his own private hell.
I think that purgatory, technically, this is where I kind of agree with Jack. I think that purgatory existed. The only problem was there wasn't anybody there living that had the same amount of juice as Will did. Then when he showed up,
but there were some
animals. But Henry shows up,
and they automatically just joined the hive mind.
Yeah, makes some kind of weird ass deal with the hive mind. Spider. You guys, Spider-Man. The whole Venom. They maybe the hive mind and Henry have a symbiotic relationship.
Maybe. I just think that if he was that powerful, then when he was in Earth, when he came back to Earth, that he would have just tore things up without needing to do all this silly ritual of the portals and the 4 sacrifices.
Well, he needed to use the energy from the 4 sacrifices to open the portals.
He either has way too much.
He was some kind of psychic vampire to begin with, because he got more powerful the more he fucked with people.
Yeah.
Right, but I think that I just think that the things that happened would require something more powerful than I've seen 11 or Henry do.
Well, it's clear that even in the end that Vecna is still more powerful than 11, considering it's implied that Vecna is not dead.
Oh, clearly he's not dead. His body disappeared.
Well, they kind of did the same thing in the original. If you look at it, it's almost scene to scene the same way that the original Halloween movie happened. The guy shoots Michael Myers, not the actor, but the Halloween villain. He falls out the window, lands on onto the ground. Then they rush, and they did the same thing with Vecna. Then when they get down there, Michael Myers has disappeared in the Halloween movie, and so is this guy. I mean, I'm not saying they're ripping off old horror movies.
Well, no, it's an homage to them. They're doing it. They're doing it, which technically they're borrowing, things, but it's to do it to say we love this and we're going to do it too.
I think my problem is I've seen too many horror movies from the 80s, so when that shit happens, I'm like, hey, I know where they got that from. I mean, the most original thing that they did in the movie was Master of Puppets. Because I can say, you can say, what about the psychic girl? Well, there was a psychic girl in one of the Jason Firestarter. Friday the 13th, the psychic that put down Jason Voorhees. I mean, this is not a new bag. This is not a new thing. No. And I'm saying that they're wrong for doing it. No, because I find the show to be amazing. I really enjoy the show. I love the fact that we finally have a show out there that has more than a just brief mentioning, but a real D&D connection. Mm-hmm. And I think that's awesome. I really do. And there's a lot of the show that, me, you, and Jack can argue about the fine-tuning of the show, what we think they should have done differently. But I don't think any of us were producers on that show. None of us wrote this.
Well, okay, you caught me. No, I think the worst thing is that we've got to wait such a long time to see the end, and it's just going to allow so much speculation to come into the world.
But that's almost the fun part, the theory crafting. I mean, I don't know who was the closest in the theory crafting last time, but I know I was close. I know. What was it?
I don't think any of us got that close, but I don't remember very well.
I know there was going to be tentacles, and it was not going to have a happy ending.
That's true, but you thought everybody was gonna, or the majority, a lot of people.
I said the way I would have wrote it. I would have completely George R. Martin the hell out of it. Oh, you really like this character? Let me take him away from you. Oh, Hopper. Hopper's awesome. He's going to stay a little bit longer, so I can kill him.
No, Hopper's not going anywhere. Hopper and Joyce are going to get married in the end, and
I don't. I would give him a high five. I mean, she's awesome. Her as an actress is awesome. She's kind of quirky as an actress, but whatever. But the role that she plays, she does it so fucking well. It is nice to see. She is the complete opposite of Mike's dad, where Mike's dad doesn't give two shits or doesn't have the brain capacity after doing whatever the hell he does to think past himself, where the mom worries about
Mike's dad. He has like one page of dialogue, but they're each like 5-word sentences. What I do? They're talking about Satanists again. That's all he says. He says like one sentence per 2 or 3 episodes, and that's it. He doesn't say anything at all.
I kind of wish I was an adult during that era, because I find the whole Satan scenario for Dungeons & Dragons just to be so asinine. But
here's the thing. As during that time, I was, I think I was born the same year as Billy.
Okay.
So I was the same age. I'm pretty sure I was the same age as Billy, because I saw it on the tombstone. Not the exact birthday, but same year. Okay. And growing up at a game store and playing D&D prior to and after it, I literally saw scores of actual Satan worshiping Dungeons and Dragons players, and that was in California. Okay, so I mean literal black candle, Friday night mass, sacrifice the chicken, the whole bit, and even whispers of we need to up our game and maybe find something bigger to sacrifice past the black cat on Friday night.
67? Okay, he was born in 67.
Yeah, so was I. I literally saw a lot of that. Okay, a lot of that. That wasn't my bag. I was more into other things, and those things.
Like doing rituals to destroy the world.
Wore skirts.
Hey, that is a ritual that can destroy the world. Chasing after skirts. It's one of the oldest rituals known to mankind for teenagers.
And I knew a lot of people that came through our game store and invited us to games that we went to and houses we went to, etc. And that was in California, where nobody would have batted an eye, okay? And in probably one of the most concentrated places of Dungeons & Dragons, next to the area that it was created and was founded in, and the birthplace of Dungeons & Dragons. And mind you, California had a completely different style. The Gonzo style of Dungeons & Dragons was much different from the Midwest version. I could see how that whole idea, and all it would take is one instance of one kid going crazy with the way the news was back then. They would have had no choice but to jump on that story for the fear porn and to expand it as much as possible for the ratings, the views, the clicks, the likes, whatever you want to call it back then, to have a story and to have something else to make people afraid of, especially you throw kids and anything together and you're going to get everybody's attention.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean,
if any of that kind of thing was going on outside of California, which I bet every single state had at least one case of some kid who took it too far. Why? Because it was something that could have been taken too far. Okay? You could replace Dungeons and Dragons and Satanic Panic with drugs, rock and roll, comic books. It's all happened before. They found their new.
It's happening still. I mean, there was the Pokemon craze where Pokemon were satanic creatures made by certain churches were going off on. Harry Potter.
It is and will always have been cockfighting for kids. That's the best way to describe it.
Cockfighting for kids. That's
so
fucking scary. That's
what Pokemon was. That's literally what it was.
Yeah. I mean, the manga makes it have to be a little bit more, but you're not that far off.
I also was at a game shop where I worked where Pokemon was the big thing, even though not everybody there was into it, but it was their biggest seller. And this was a place that sold Dungeons and Dragons, every other role-playing game you could imagine, military model kits, which took up most of the space of the building, and yet their game hall was nothing but Pokemon players.
The place I worked at in Missouri, the big three drawers were, I'd like to say me, but really wasn't, but was the Magic, Friday Night Magic, Saturday Night Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon card games. That was what brought the most money into the game shop, except for the
fact that Magic the Gathering never got sucked into anything like that is actually quite amazing. From my perspective, seeing how many
Magic the Gathering back in the 90s, it there was a bunch of Satanist fear mongering went with Magic.
The only thing Magic ever got was the gambling aspect, because you did, in fact, in the very beginning of Magic, you took your deck and you cut it or whatever, and whatever card showed up, that was the card you would lose.
Yeah, I remember that. But no, I don't know.
So that alone made it technically gambling in the eyes of the schools. Because I worked at a game store across the street from a high school, and they banned it because of that very reason. And that's as far as it went.
See, I think I got a different aspect of it because I live in the Midwest. Because I remember a few churches around where I grew up, bitching about the evil, because you summoning demons and ghosts and vampires and all other kinds of nonsense when you're playing Magic the Gathering. So it might have been a Midwest thing versus an East Coast thing. I don't know.
Which, not saying that they were right or should have done any of what they did. What
about Pogs? Man,
Pogs were the fidget spinners of the day. That's it. Just something trendy, stupid, and time wasting that they could foist onto the idiots of the buying masses to purchase the new shiny, and I never saw much of any of that ever take any kind of.
We talked about a lot of the mains. Actually, I kind of feel sorry. Oh, I feel sorry for Eddie, but I really feel sorry for Eddie's uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Eddie's uncle. I mean, I'm not saying that Eddie didn't get a raw deal, because he really did. He was screwed right out of the gate. But to be the only surviving member of that family that has to live in a small town where everybody thinks that your nephew / son / whatever family member it is a horrible it'd be like being the nephew of Wayne
Jeffrey
Dahmer. I'm thinking of Gatesy, yeah, him from being from Illinois. If he had any family members, I mean, you have to deal with the falling out. Hell, my two stepsons are related to the Donner Party. I mean, the Oregon Trail Donner Party. They're related to them, and they still catch a little bit of hell if anybody, if anybody finds out.
Well, that's why you never talk about such things.
Yeah,
secrets are supposed to be kept secret.
What was this comment? Our Catholic mothers questioned us about D&D, but quickly got over their suspicions once they realized how well we were able to entertain ourselves. You must have been part of the TV era. I know I was. Oh, you need a babysitter? No, I got a TV. Did he leave to go use the restroom again?
Yeah. Yep.
So anything you want to add? Oh, okay. You're about ready to go into high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Stranger Things kind of matches up with your school experience. I mean, in a sense. Oh, 71. That's fair.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they started off in junior high. Now they're in high school. I don't. I think they're freshmen in high school.
I know that they originally. I think they originally started in. No, I know season 2 was their last year there. I know season 2 was their last year there, and then season 3 was the summer. Not summer, yeah, the summer break.
Yeah.
And season 4 was the spring break, so skipped over the school year.
Yeah.
School.
High school is weird. I mean, leaving out all the Stranger Thing, aspects, into it, leaving all that out. High school has its own weird. I don't know. So, are you enjoying the fact that kind of goes along with your school years? I mean, you get as much aspects of it.
That only happened because of the delay, though.
Yeah, I think that's
a 2-year delay, which caused that.
Max has something he wants to say.
No, I've been drinking a lot of water all day.
What does Max say? High school is better than junior high for me. Junior high was the worst time of my life. Senior high school, high school is just high school. All my sports I did, or everything I did, was always outside of school, so it wasn't like I was making friends at school.
It's weird that the Max's comment about my prostate didn't show up in the chat, but it showed up for you.
I don't know. I put that restaurant Jumbo and Delicious on thing, and it didn't show. It didn't show up on. I don't know. So we talked about Eddie's death, which I think Eddie's coming back. I hope Eddie's coming back. I could be wrong, but I hope Eddie's coming back.
I don't think so, but it's that was.
That is an interesting theory. I'll put it that way.
I think when it comes to deaths and this, I don't know if anybody exactly. Well, I know somebody deserved it, but this is why I keep. Okay, I'm going. This is why I keep my YouTube channel. When I stream, some chats don't come through. Plus, I delete. That's fair.
That's true. Yeah, sometimes the chats disappear.
Yeah, that's probably why they didn't take that address.
Most of ours too. Well, not most. I know our last ones.
I just don't. I think Vecna has a symbiotic relationship with the Mind Flayer. I think that's how that's working out.
I wanted. I mean, maybe it's just because I liked the idea better of the Mind Flayer more. I mean, I always liked the Mind Flayer more than I liked Vecna, and I was a bit when I found that not only did the new main villain have like a face, he talked. I found that felt a bit weird.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. When Henry first went to the Upside Down world, he was still human-ish looking. He looked like he went through the ringer once or twice or maybe 12 times.
No, but he was already starting to change.
Right. But as the show goes on, he makes contact with the Mind Flayer. And then as we get him now, he has moving tentacles that move up and down his body. He went full Voldemort.
Yeah.
Compared to what he used
That's why.
to.
That's why I think that there's something else going on, but I still can't.
That he spent there.
Right, but
again, I hope it's not. But I think
I still can't reconcile the fact that the Upside Down. It makes more sense that the Upside Down was just a place, as opposed to it being a copy of Earth.
Well, no, it clearly wasn't a copy of Earth because
I don't know that that's a fact.
It didn't start out as a copy, but when the new portal opened, it became a copy.
I don't know that that's the case because there was so much wide open spaces.
When else would it become a copy? Why would
it could have always been?
We see it not as a copy. Why would it just be a copy of the future? Of some random day that will soon be important, but has not happened yet.
Right. The problem with it being
into existence as one day that has not happened and won't happen for possibly millions or maybe even just a few if it was just randomly created. Why would it be created as a day in the future?
Because here's what I'm trying to say. The whole place has areas that are just awful wilderness. And then it has pockets of places that are horrible mirrored copies of the real world.
No,
so at any time,
those wilderness parts are actual just wilderness in the real world. Because there are big forests. There are multiple of those, and when we see in season 1 when Jonathan and Nancy go, or really just Nancy, go into the Upside Down in season 1, they're in a forest. Then they see the thing with the deer. The deer gets pulled in by the monster. They see the portal. Nancy crawls in, and then they're still in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
When it became an exact copy after that specific day.
But what would make that happen?
The opening of the
portal. Let's throw a little bit of D&D on top of it. So you got your main, your main Earth. Then there's different planes of existence that are like walking through a door. You're either in a positive plane, in a negative plane, you're in a wild fey.
Right. But just because a place connects doesn't mean it suddenly transforms to copy the place that it's connected to. That's what I don't buy.
Or with the Dresden File. Okay, really quick, we'll hop over to the Dresden File really quick. You guys read the first half. Yeah, that's going to be its own video next week. It is what it is. But when Dresden and Michael went over to the Never Never to deal with the ghost in the first part of the book, they were in a copy-coded version of the world they just left. It was a little bit more wonkier, of course, but it was almost the same place.
Mm-hmm. But that's also a supernatural setting to begin with, where that's a thing. And this is a technological or psionic,
more science-based show than it is.
Well, I don't see why the land would just suddenly start building bicycles.
And it was time locked, though. It didn't. It time locked. It time locked to the day that he got shunted in there.
Exactly why I think that there is some. Why I think L's power could be powerful enough to literally have created that living hell for him. But unfortunately, it would include.
Vecna wasn't powerful enough to change it.
Hold on. Unfortunately, it would include things from his own mind, which would include a twisted version of reality and his ideal super being, which would be the spider.
Interesting. It could be. And we
I
got
think
like,
that's how powerful they're trying to say she is.
or
Yeah,
he is.
I think that Vecna is still more powerful than 11, at least sometimes.
No, I think what they're showing is that she's still too afraid to open up, and he's not. He's
Well,
willing to.
I think when they first fought in the very beginning, when he got shunted into the hellscape, he was weak because he hasn't been able to use his power for X amount of years. Where 11's been trained to use her powers daily. Now that he's been over there in the hellscape and has built up his twisted vision of what Earth could be or should be, at least in his mind, I think he is stronger than 11 because he is, even in the show, he's the most powerful one that the Dr. Papa ever ran across.
Except I think that when Papa said that you will be or can become stronger than him,
yeah,
I think he knows something that nobody else knew.
That, or he was just trying to keep 11
or
to himself.
Foreshadowed by the writers to let us know that she's more powerful. She's just afraid to be more powerful.
Well, yeah, later on she'll probably, but at the current moment, she clearly wants to.
Well, like with Fire, like other shows that kind of pushed on that topic, how much of their humanity do they have to give up to gain more power?
Here's another thing: when Elle opened up the portal, right?
Right. Yeah.
What was she thinking?
He had to go. I don't.
I think that's a kind of a crucial thing. Is if she was thinking, if she even knew the expression "go to hell," which she might not have.
Probably not.
Okay, where was she thinking to send him, or what was she thinking to do?
I don't think
she could have just broke.
Anything.
She could have just broke his neck. But instead, she was thinking something probably more primal, like "go away."
I hate to say it, but I think this show needs its own book series to fill in all the fucking blanks, or at least graphic novels.
I think that's why there's a season 5.
Yeah. With that being
they could have
said,
ended it here. They could have easily ended it here.
Oh yeah. With that being said, and there being
they could
4
have
minutes,
ended it here, but they would have needed to do a bunch of changes because it originally was supposed to end here.
So, with there being 4 minutes left to the 2-hour mark, are we happy with today's conversations, or should we continue this?
No, it's not that. Yeah. Of course, no. There's nothing else to say really, because we don't know. We've got tons of questions, and until we get a spoiler or a sneak preview or something like that, we won't have even remotely, or if they do an interview and let out some info, we're gonna have to just do like everybody else and suck it up and wait it out.
So next week we will do Dresden Files: Grave Peril. You guys are at least halfway through the book. By that time, hopefully all the way through that book. 10 to 1, we might have some guests because that's when Jade said he was really wanting to jump on and talk about it. I want to say to the chat,
Mark, we're
doing the book next week. Yeah. I want to say to the chat between Mark, Max, Thirsty. I know Multiple Gunmen is going to pop up later. Say, damn it, I missed it again. I hope he has a good day too. Jess, thanks for coming out. Jess is a dear friend of mine, and that's why she showed up. She was curious. And so I want the chat to have a good day, and hopefully if you like the video, hit like button. If you're not already subscribed, which I'm sure most of you guys already are, please push it and send these guys some love if you already haven't. But what you two have going on, is this going to be a light week for videos, or is this going to be one of your video heavy weeks?
Tonight we have a painting video. Ooh. Monday is usually our day off. The only one we get until we start doing another video that's going to start next month. We'll tell you more about that. Tuesday, we might also take off depending on things. But Wednesday,
I don't like the idea of getting rid of the Tuesdays.
Right. We'll come up with a topic and we'll do it.
Well, maybe
we'll just do a chat. But I got my notification saying
do another July update stream.
We only have like 6 hours left of our StreamYard's chat time left, but it re-ups on Saturday, so that'll be fine. Tuesday we normally have some sort of informational video or something like that. Wednesday I will be reviewing either a Gamma World book or another game. Thursday we will have a craft, which will probably be a continuation of last week's craft. Friday I will be doing an Arduin review or something else. I'm still working on finishing the next Arduin book to actually give a fair review of it. And then, of course, Wednesday and Thursday we've got Gatekeepers and Table Breakers. Friday we'll be hanging out with Max again. And then Saturday we're going to be doing a regular late night.
Yeah, we have Bruce's game. We have Bruce's game this coming Saturday.
Yep.
We're going to kill some giants. We're going to have some shenanigans, and we're both going to be told off by some Scottish kid who can run his mouth with the best of them. They need to find a way. They need to find a way to bottle him and sell him in gaming stores because the kid is great. It really is.
He should just do stand-up. He should just find a place where he won't get arrested for doing stand-up because the rest of the world has turned into a bunch of pussies.
Somehow we forgot to laugh.
That'll also be in Bloodworth's game on Tuesday, but it's a private chat game, so nobody can actually watch it. But thanks, Bloodworth, for letting me come in and play some original, the best version of D&D, that being AD&D First Edition. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to Wednesday and Thursday, Gatekeeper and Table Breakers, even though I have no idea what the topic is. Guys.
Table Breakers?
Yeah.
Encounter building. We're still going into the counter building aspect. There's still a little bit more. Yeah, that's on Table Breakers because there's still a little bit more meat on that bone that we could chew off. And Mike's running. I mean, not Mike. Jade is running the ship for Table Breakers right now, and he does a really, really good job at A, coming up with questions, and B, keeping us hooligans on pace. So, wow, you guys have a busy week. Let's see, Monday I got my game, which is not public. Tuesday I have playing another game, but once again not public. Starfleet from the Starfleet game I was talking about from 76. Yeah, I played that on Tuesday. Or if not that, Babylon 5. Then Wednesday is my daughter's 12th birthday. I might have to see if I can Shanghai Legion of Max Chill stream and do that what you did for Jack Boy there, so we can embarrass my kid. I'm not, if it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. And Saturday, Table Breakers, of course. Wednesday I'm busy. Table Breakers. Friday, hanging out with Max, if you have me. Saturday, hanging out with you and Bruce. Then next Sunday, we will be talking about the Friday night birthday stream. Yeah, we don't have to. I'd love to embarrass my daughter. We'll be talking about Dresden Files, the third book. Is it the third book?
Yes.
Yeah, the third book, Grave Peril. And Mark will definitely be looking forward to seeing you there. I know that's, you've read the book already, which that's awesome. And I hope to see the rest of you guys there. I will talk to you all later. I think this is a good place to end. You all have a good weekend and have a good rest of the week. You guys want to say goodbye?
Sorry, I was typing goodbye. Yeah, everybody, thanks for showing up and making this a whole lot more fun. And have a great week. Enjoy your summer, what's left of it. And, try to stay cool because it sucks out there.
Yeah, I think I broke it.
Yeah. So, really quick, my words of wisdom, and we'll shut down. So, during the winter, you do not stick your tongue to a post because it gets stuck. During the summer, because it is hot as it is, don't stick anything fragile to anything hot. So
Yeah.
with that being said, I'll talk to you everybody later. And unlike Shadow, I know what button to